Okay, today is Wednesday, December 11th, 2013, and I got everything on this little bench table put together. By the way, it is 18 inches tall and 18 inches deep and 36 inches long. And so everything came together the way I want it to come together. Not everything came together exactly square or as square as I'd like, but that's to be expected because these are all scrap pieces of lumber. There's a real, for some reason, there's a real gap here. And for the most part, it's a little wobbly, but it's stable enough to sit on or to use as a rough table outside. But I'm going to do something to try to remedy, this little bit of wobbliness that's still on the table. Basically, when I attached these finish pieces to these legs, I realized that what I could do is if I can get this somehow attached or anchored to the underside, this would be a little more solid. So what I'm doing is to do that, I've created these little blocks. So they'll go on the underside. I have to flip the table over to really show how that works. And I made these little blocks out of some scrap lumber here. When I cut the taper for these legs, that left these sort of long tapered pieces of wood, and I trimmed a couple of them down, and I marked a space and drilled holes for how they would work. And then what I'll do is I trim them down. I trim them down at this line so that they become these little blocks, with a hole that fits. It's going to fit on each side of the underside of the leg where it comes together with the structure. Okay, I'm going to flip the table over, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. Okay, I flipped the table over, and what I've done is I've taken these little blocks that I made, and I've placed them inside the place where I can attach them. Yeah, come back here, yeah. Okay, this guy goes like that. Okay, and where these legs come, there's a little bit of wobble, a little bit of give, and the weak spot is here and here. So if I can get this attached and anchored to this, and this to this, that will eliminate at least some of that instability, some of that wobbliness. Okay, so I'm gonna place that back. I'm gonna place that back, and basically, first what I'll do is I'll attach this to this, and then I'll screw it down to the structure through this hole here. Okay, we'll see how this goes. Okay, I got a securing block in this spot, and over in this spot, and over here, and over here. And so what I have left to do are these over here. Although this is pretty solid. Just having these in on half of them has already made this feel very solid. It wiggles a little bit, but not as much as it did. Now these two legs down here are still a little bit loose. They're not as loose as they were because of these anchors. I was able to attach it to this and then attach it to this. It's after I did this first and then I did this, and this is what really helped to make this stable. So I'm going to put two more here. Now that's 8 connections, 2 in each corner, and my first 2 split. I'm very disappointed. And what I learned was that essentially I was using the wrong screws. It was this thick part up here that basically split the wood. I was using these. These are all, the whole project's being made from leftover surplus items from previous projects and from found wood. So I got these two left, and what I did to basically try to not have this happen again was I changed out the drill bit for a slightly larger drill hole, so the hole is a little bit bigger, and I'm going to use, let's see, where are those? These are the ones that didn't work, but these, yeah, this one, for some reason, this one doesn't, this one's it's a little bit bigger than these, but it doesn't split the wood. I guess because of its shape, and it's just a little more, I use this these sort of flat black, colored. What are these? These are drywall screws, I guess, and so I use them on these, and they have kind of a flat black color and texture there. And I guess you can paint over them or something. So, okay, so I'm going to work with these, and these I'm going to toss. If I have to make two more, I guess I could out of, I've got, let's see, where's that scrap wood? I got these pieces over here if I have to make more. But I'm going to try to get by just by putting these two in these two legs, and these two legs seem to be pretty solid without them. But if they end up getting wobbly over time, I'll create another anchor block to go here and one to go here. Okay, so I'm going to work on that and see how that goes. Okay, I finished all the work I'm going to do on this table that is 18 inches by 36 inches by 18 inches tall. This is my scrap wood table made out of scraps, and I have it sitting out here by the outdoor fireplace on the edge of the patio, and a couple of old spare chairs that we've had around. And basically it looks pretty good. It looks the way I want it to look. It's nice and solid. It's got the proportions I want, and it fits in right in this spot next to this galvanized steel pole that's stuck in the middle of this concrete patio. This thing was part of a larger thing that used to be in the middle of the patio, and I don't know what it was, but we're going to figure out how to get rid of that pole eventually. But right now, we needed a good sized table that we could use as either a table or a bench, because sometimes we have our meals, we have hot beverages down here. On a cold day, we get a fire going, and this creates a nice little space. I'm gonna sit down. It creates a nice little space to sit down in, and so this works. This works pretty well, and also, when I touch it, when I sit on it's nice and solid now. So that's as much as I'm going to do on this piece. This is conceived as a very rough piece, and as kind of a practice table. Now that I've done this, I'd like to do another one that's maybe a little more finished and just a little bit better thought out as far as the underlying structure on the inside. The underlying structure on the inside of this one's a little heavy, a little overbuilt, because it was made of scraps of just what I had laying around the house. So, okay, but this looks pretty good for now. Okay, what I did for the rest of the afternoon, now that this table is finished, I sawed up some of these scrap boards that we keep in here. This is the old enclosed back porch. It's a 2-story porch. It's a lean-to structure on the back of the house. If you come inside, you'll see this is where we've been keeping scrap wood that we found in and around the house, and like out in the yard and all around the house. And so the parts that look like they might be useful, like they might dry out and we could use as firewood, we've been putting in here, and we've been letting them dry out and now they're dry, and so so I started in on these. These are boards that were on one of the walls down in the raised basement around the old bathroom, and these were nailed to the 2x4 partition walls. The thing is, when they were installed, they were probably very nice, but they're pine, and all of them have been nibbled and eaten out halfway by termites. They all have termite damage, and that's also true. Like over here, this board here is probably pine, and this looks like tunnels and channels that have been eaten out by termites, and others are just they were just left out in the rain for years, and so we brought them in here to let them dry out. These are all it's all just scrap wood, and what I do is I do a little every afternoon or every day. I just take 5 or 6 of these boards and cut them into thirds or cut them in half or fourths, and I fill up one of these boxes, and I believe under the table, let's see what we have. Okay, we have a box of twigs, and looks like twigs and some branches and some termite damaged pieces of wood. And the other one, and these are big 2x4s. These are from the fire damaged part of the house, and you can see there's some charring on some. And some of these are actually just pieces of particle board from the old kitchen counter. But these big pieces in here make good fire logs, and the twigs make good fire starters when you put them on top of like a bunch of wadded up newspapers. And then these are kind of in between, the twigs and the logs. These are sort of branch sized boards, and they're good for keeping a fire going. So, and that's the homemade hand stacked fireplace that we managed to cobble together out of found bricks in the yard. Okay. Okay, well, it's about 4:30 in the afternoon on Wednesday, December 11th, 2013, and I've got a supply of firewood. I've got the fire poker. I've got a nice fire going, and Eddie will be home soon, so this will be a nice thing for him to come home to. He can warm himself by the fire. It isn't freezing like it was the last couple of days. It's actually just starting to get comfortable out here. So I'm going to sit by the fire and read some more of this book that Ed checked out from the library. It is by John Shelby Spong. It is it's a critical assessment of interpreting the Bible in a literal manner versus a non-literal manner, more like a metaphorical manner. And he comes down on the side of metaphors, and is pretty critical of fundamentalist versions of the Bible and fundamentalist and literal interpretations of the Bible. So it's he's a very, very good writer, very smart, intelligent man. He's the Episcopal Bishop of Newark, New Jersey. He's retired, and so he's written this among like 9 other books. And anyway, it's interesting. So I'm going to catch up on some reading and sit over here with the book by the fire, and basically Eddie will come home soon, and we'll have dinner, and that'll be nice.